Thank you for being attentive and being good listeners. Once again, I'm late Ramadan, going to take you through English language. Yesterday, we were learning the parts of a friendly letter, and I told you that a friendly letter is also known as a personal letter, or you can also call it an informal letter. So we saw the parts of a friendly letter, and we said that there are 6 parts of a friendly letter. The first one being the address, followed by the date. Then after the date, we always have the salutation, which I also said can be known as the greeting. And after that, we have the body. Remember, I told you the body is divided in 3 parts. It will have the introduction, the message or explanation, and lastly, the conclusion. So after that, the 5th part is the concluding phrase or complimentary clause. Then after that, the last part of a friendly letter is the signature. But remember, I said in a friendly letter, we don't put a signature in the characteristic way. Instead, you write your religious name. If you're Ramadan, you write Ramadan. Do not try to relate. If you're maybe Wanyenze Keti, you write Keti, don't write Wanyenze. So I remember giving you some activity to observe any written letter as long as it is a friendly letter, and then you identify the parts. I am sure you were able to see different categories of the address, and you also saw that every friendly letter, unless it has a mistake, has the date. And then after that, we were able to see ways how the salutation is written. And then we also have the body. You saw the body, and you must have seen different ways of ending a friendly letter. Remember, in a friendly letter, the language has to be friendly. We don't have to be official. Don't use words like yours faithfully, yours sincerely. No. However, you can use words like your beloved friend, your loving sister, so depending on the relationship between the writer and the receiver. So thank you so much. Now today, I want us to have, in our lesson 2, we are going to have comprehension. Remember, English language as a subject moves based on the following aspects. We have vocabulary, and after vocabulary we have structures, we have grammar, and then comprehension, and also composition. Now, last time we discussed the vocabulary. You saw the terms that we expect to meet in this lesson. Words like occasion, address, date, salutation. You see, when we have learned those words, now here when we are using them in any text related to letter writing, it will be simple for you because you will understand the words. So now we are on this aspect of comprehension. The word comprehension, like I explained to you last time, comes from the word comprehend. And to comprehend is to understand, or to read deeply and understand. I believe we understood what it meant. So now, I expect us to read this text comprehensively. We read and understand what is here, so that in case of any questions, we can easily attempt those questions and we move on well. So, in our comprehension, the instructions are clear here. Read the letter below carefully and answer the questions about it in full sentences. I remember telling you that in English, and by the way, in any other subject, following instructions is very, very important, because you will know what you're expected to do. These instructions are guiding us what to do. For example, you can see this part, in full sentences. I don't expect someone to throw just answers. The answers have to be in full sentences, and based on the way the question will be asked. So I want us to read together. First of all, I'm going to read through, and then maybe in like 5 minutes or 3, you can also practice. So this is a letter. Ark Junior School, P.O. Box 12, Bugulo, 10th May 2020. Dear Juliet, Let me hope you are keeping yourself safe during this COVID-19 lockdown. I wish to inform you to pick your self-study work from the office of the LC1 chairperson of your village. This work will enable you carry on with revision until schools open. I wish you all the best and stay safe. Your caring brother, Bernard. If I am to remind you, this is a friendly letter, and when you follow it very well, you realize that the 6 parts of the friendly letter, like we said, are clearly seen. The first one is the address, Arc Junior School, P.O. Box 12, Bubulo. This is the address. After the address, I have left a lane, and then followed by the date. You have seen that the date is fully punctuated. When we reach our time of practicing how to write letters, I am going to show you all the styles of writing the date, because this is not the only way. We are going to see all those as we practice. So now this is the date. After the date, we have seen the salutation. Remember, I told you after the salutation, it is not necessary to leave a lane, and that's why you see that the space here is not like that above. So now, our body consists of 3 paragraphs. There is this paragraph of introduction, there is this paragraph of the message, and then the last paragraph of the conclusion. So, this is the body. And then lastly, we have here the concluding phrase, your caring brother, and then lastly, the signature, Bernard. So, this is a letter. I am reading through again for the last time, then you also try. Arc Junior School, P.O. Box 12, Bubulo. 10th May 2020. Dear Juliet, let me hope you are keeping yourself safe during this COVID-19 lockdown. I wish to inform you to pick your self-study work from the office of the LC1 chairperson of your village. This work will enable you carry on with revision until schools open. Remember to pause or put a period where there is a full stop. As you are reading, please take note of the punctuation marks. Don't pause anyhow. For example, we cannot say Arc Junior School, you see, because there are no commas in some places. So, Arc Junior School, P.O. Box 12, Bubulo. This is a full stop. The way you pause after a comma is quite different from the way you pause after a full stop. 10th May 2020. I know many of you have a mistake whereby you say 10th May 2020. That will cause you put here a comma which is not necessary. So 10th May 2020. Dear Juliet, let me hope you are keeping yourself safe during this COVID-19 lockdown. I wish to inform you to pick your self-study work from the office of the LC1 chairperson of your village. This work will enable you to carry on with revision until schools open. I wish you all the best and stay safe. Your caring brother, Bernard. So, have you tried reading this letter? If you have done so, thank you so much. Let me hope you have been following the punctuation marks as you read the letter. Now, like I said in comprehension, we have a text to read, and then we answer questions about this text to show that we have understood what we have read. Now, let me pose some questions orally, and then we see how best we can answer these questions. For example, a question can come from this first part. Arc Junior School, P.O. Box 12, Bubulo. Remember, this address is for the writer, not the receiver. The person who wrote the letter is the one who owns this address, not the receiver. So if I may ask you, from which school is the writer? Who are we going to base on as the writer? Is it Juliet or Bernard? The writer here is Bernard. So we answer based on this. The writer is from, don't forget the preposition in the question. From which school, not in which school. So the answer also has to have the word from. From which school is the writer? The writer is from Arc Junior School. Do not say Bernard is from Arc Junior School because we want to show that you know the writer. Then another question can come based on the box number. A question, for example, can be write the box number of the school. When they say write the box number, do not write the box number in words. Just write the way you see. If a question says write, mention, suggest, give, outline. Don't write a full sentence. Despite the fact that the instructions here guide us to write a full sentence. So, another question can come based on this. Remember, this is a place where the school is located. Some people think that always the place is a district. It can be a sub-county, it can even be a village. So, a question can be, where is Arc Junior School located? I expect you to give an answer like this one. Arc Junior School is located in. Why do we use in? Because we are giving a name of a big place. Do not say at. So we shall say Arc Junior School is located in Bubulo. Remember to write Bubulo with a capital letter. Why? It is a proper noun. Then another question can come basing on the date. For example, the question can be, when was this letter written? Which answer are you going to give? I expect an answer like this one. This letter was written on 10th May 2020. There is a common mistake in the way the date can be written. Like you have seen here, it is okay. Now, if you make a mistake in your answer, and then you say 10th, then you write May, maybe in words, or in figures. Then you write the year in 3. Do not write the month in figures. The date will be wrongly written. So the best way is, as you have seen, we can also write this date like this: 10th May 2020. This format of writing the date is actually the simplest. You have simply used what we call date separators. Some people even prefer writing it like this. This is also okay. You can add a zero here, you can leave it out, it is fine. So that is the date, but remember to answer based on the way the question has been asked. Another question about the date can be specific. In which year was the letter written? Now don't include the date and don't include the month. Simply answer based on the year. Remember, always the year is written in figures. So that is about the date. Dear Juliet, expect a question like this one. To whom was the letter written? Now, this question is in passive voice. Even your answer has to be in passive voice. This letter was written to Juliet, and put a full stop. So that will show that you have understood what you have read. Let me hope you are keeping yourself safe during this COVID-19 lockdown. Now, this one is the introduction. It can also it can also have a question. For example, write COVID in full. What do I expect of you? COVID is a short form of Corona virus disease. Why have I joined this? Because the same word can be used as that virus that leads to the disease. So it has no problem. Now, Once the first letter is capital, you can make D capital or use a small letter. It has no problem. But don't forget the first one has to be a capital letter, and this can be a small letter or a capital letter. This one is joined, so there is no need of writing V capital. I hope you have got me there. So that one has come from this abbreviation. Remember, we are in comprehension, but still the knowledge of abbreviations can be here. Comprehension is a combination of all that we have studied before. The vocabulary, the structures, grammar, and all those. And that's why you're seeing that I'm emphasizing punctuation, which is knowledge of grammar even when we are in comprehension. Now, from the message now, I wish to inform you to pick your self-study work from the office of the LC1 chairperson of your village. If it is an abbreviation, you can also be asked, what is it? Or write LC1 in full. This is local council. This is local council 1. We always have words like LC5, LC1. There is even LC2 for police level and so on. So L stands for local, C stands for council. Don't forget, this word is also pronounced as council, but it has a different meaning. So the one I want here is this one. Okay? So V stands for 5, right, in capital, the first letter capital. 1 stands for 1, and this stands for 2. So this is a lesson about abbreviations, but still it can be asked here. Now, the most commonly asked question here can be, where should Bernard pick, where should Juliet pick the study work? Where should Bernard pick the self-study work? Now, when a question has where, that means we only want to know the place. So where is he going to pick it? Now, since here they have used office, that is also what I want you to use. So the answer will be Juliet should, because it is in the question. Juliet should pick the self-study work from the office of the LC1 chairperson of, now this one is going to change based on Juliet, of her village. Don't say of your village. Is that okay? So that is a question I expect from here. This work will enable you carry on with revision until schools open. A question can be, how useful is this work to Juliet? Or how useful will this work be to Juliet? In any way, once the question starts with how useful, how beneficial, how important, how vital, begin your answer with, start with that work and then use the word enable according to the required tense in your answer. So, for this case, if I say, how useful is this work to Juliet? Simply say, this work enables Juliet. Why? Because the question is also in present tense. But if I say, how useful will this work be to Juliet? Now your answer should be, this work will enable Juliet. Don't say, this work will be useful to Juliet in such a way that, I hope you get me there. This work will enable Juliet to carry on with revision until schools open. I hope we are together there. So that question can come from here. If not, it can be, for what use is the self-study work? Still you will say, the self-study work enables Juliet to carry on with revision until schools open. Don't say enables us, because you are not part of this message. Now, here we have, I wish you all the best and stay safe. This can lead us to another question. Stay safe. The question can be, what advice does the writer give to the receiver? What advice does the writer give to the receiver? If a question has what advice, the question can also have which advice. Maybe it can be, how does the writer advise the receiver? I want you to note that when we are answering these questions, we are going to use this preposition to. Is that okay? But in any case where advice has been used in your answer, this is a noun. Remember to change it into a verb. So if it is a verb, we shall not use letter C in our answer. Now it will change to advise. Are you getting me there? So don't use advice as a verb. This is a noun. So in your answer, change advice to advise. Now the question is, what advice does the writer give to the receiver? Your answer should be, the writer advises the receiver to stay safe. Preposition to, like I said, to connect to the advice. The question can be, how does the writer advise the receiver? Same answer. Which advice is the receiver given? The receiver is advised. Now you take note of the tense, but like I said, change C to S. So that is a question that can come from here. And then lastly, your caring brother. In your primary 6, I think second term, you must have learned about family relationships. And now, I expect you to know a word like brother, what it means. Now a question can be, how is the writer related to the receiver? Now, basing on the word brother, I expect you to give an answer like this. The writer is a brother to the receiver. Is that okay? Or you can say, the writer and the receiver are siblings. Siblings means brother and sister. Don't say are brothers and sisters. Is that okay? So, how is the writer related to the receiver? The writer is a brother to the receiver. Or the receiver is a sister to the writer. I hope we are clear there. The last question can be, who wrote this letter? The answer I expect from you is, Bernard wrote this letter. If it is in passive voice, it can be, by whom was this letter written? And the answer would be, this letter was written by Bernard. Or the question can be, who is the writer of this letter? Still the answer would be, the writer of this letter. Bernard is the writer of this letter, and so on. So that is that. Now, to be able to answer those questions we have been going through orally, it means you have read and you have understood what you have read. And that is what we mean by comprehension. Have you understood this? Because you can read a letter and you have not understood the message in the letter. So there I don't expect you to be able to answer the questions. But if you have understood, like I hope you have understood, you can now be able to answer the questions. However, remember to follow the rules of answering those comprehension questions, like I told you at the beginning of the term. So now, having gone through orally together with you, I want to pick on a few questions, some of which I have already talked about, and then you try out in form of an activity. But they are all going to come from this same letter. Okay? I now want to test whether you have been able to remember what we have discussed or not. When you try out this activity and then you find that there is a challenge you have made, please remember to contact me on the numbers that you're seeing on the screen so that I can help you. So, the first question is, when was the letter above written? And this can confuse you. If they say above letter, you also follow that. If they say letter above, you also follow that, okay? I know now you know the date when the letter was written. This is another question I want you to try out. While we were discussing, I asked a question in passive voice, and I said, to whom was this letter written? Now this question comes in active voice. Who is the receiver of the letter above? Now, you have understood and you know the receiver. Is it Bernard or it is Juliet? Remember to give a correct answer. Question 3. Why do you think this letter was written? So if you want to know why a letter was written, where do we find the answer? Do we find it from the address? Do we find it from the date? Do we find it from the salutation, introduction? Where do we get this? So I expect you to get the answer from the message. But remember to answer basing on the question. Why do you think? How do we answer such questions? I want to see that you are able to remember. Okay, number 4. According to the letter, where can Juliet get the self-study work? Now, do you remember when we talked about this phrase, according to? The position matters a lot. Here it has been used at the beginning. That means in your answer, I also expect you to use it at the beginning, according to the letter, and then you complete. If I say, where can Juliet get the self-study work according to the letter? That means I expect you to bring the phrase at the end of the statement. So, answer that one. Next. Number 5, give another word to mean carry on as used in the letter. In most cases, when a word has been underlined in the text, expect a question about it. So we have these 2 words underlined, carry on. According to the way they have been used in the letter, what does this phrase mean, carry on? If you're giving another word, fix that word in the statement. If it matches, it is likely to be the answer. Okay? There are so many words that can mean carry on. Which one are you going to pick on? Remember, here there is no capital letter. That means even in your answer, I don't want to see a capital letter. Okay? So, the last question now. So lastly, who wrote the above letter? Okay, I now know that you have read the letter and you have understood, and you are now able to identify the writer of the letter. You can even ask yourself more questions about this. There are so many. For example, you can even ask, which type of letter is this? Okay, you have learned the parts of a letter, a friendly letter. By observation, you can be able to tell that this is a friendly letter. So, try out this activity. When I come next time, we shall go through the areas that might have challenged you. Thank you so much for being good listeners. I wish you a nice day.